Did you know you can actually change your mind using your hands? It's called the change hands process. Stick around, find out how. Live, trance, and prosper. Hi, I'm Dr. Brian David Phillips. Welcome to the change hands process. Or, if you prefer, and I know I do, the Phillips change hand process. Yay! Alright, the change hand process is a very simple, very straightforward technique for waking or formal trance work and change, either a change of a personality quirk for the better, to add resources, or to change something that you would like to stop doing. So it could be to remove a bad habit, make those kind of changes, or to add resources to yourself. It's a very nice, elegant method, very straightforward, very simple, not too many steps, that allows you to intensify imaginative involvement in a way that allows a person to communicate with the unconscious in a very positive way. That way is through multiple channels. Now, in the myth that is trance work and neurolinguistic programming, we hear that people have certain channels for learning or how they relate with the world: visual, kinesthetic, and auditory. Well, this method uses all of that in order to enhance trance work. Specifically, we have intensified imagination or intensified imaginative involvement, that is the experiential trance, or if you prefer the term, somnambulism or deep hypnosis, whatever that means to you. Essentially, in hypnosis, waking or otherwise, we suggest to a person some hypnotic effects. Those effects include a kinesthetic movement. That kinesthetic component is very important because it carries with it not only a kinesthetic or automatism, which is part of the success of the pattern, but it also includes an emotional context. That is the feeling of the change itself, both the current state feeling and the desire state feeling that are represented in positions in the hand. Now, there's also a visual component in terms of the color the person hallucinates or imagines associated with that feeling. Those of you familiar with my sigil process, not traditional occult sigilism or sigil work, but the process I use for trance work, will recognize the use of color and movement. I liked it so much I did it again and again. But essentially, for this process, the change hands process, ask the person to imagine the current state. That is, whatever it is about themselves that they would like to add resources to, or that they would like to change. If it's a bad habit, boom, there it is. If it's I want to study more, boom, there it is. If it's confidence, my current state here. Okay? Now ask them to feel the weight of it so they can feel a kinesthetic or component to what they imagine they feel. So feel the weight of the current state. Right? Now, what color is that is important. It's a later variant to the pattern. I'm going to show you some examples that may not be as clear on this part, but definitely you'll see it later. It works better. So that the weight of it, the weight of the current state. What color is it? Whatever the color they say, that's right. You're doing perfectly. Because it's their imagination, it's their mind, it's their feeling. Their unconscious knows the correct color and weight and shape of the thing as they feel that sucker. Now over here, let's put the desire state. So put this one aside. And over here, let's put the desire state. What is it that you would like to change about that? Adding resources or make permanent change in some other way. Feel the weight of that. It might be lighter or it might be heavier. The difference is going to be an indication of just how much of this is a realistic expectation at this time, whether they have faith in the change work or whatever. You're going to change that, so don't worry about that. But feel the weight of that and then notice the color. Now the way you express that question, notice the statements rather. Notice the weight of it and what color. That implies there is a color. There's also an implication that there's a difference between the two, and typically there is. If there isn't, that's okay. You just run with it. Alrighty? So we've got desire state and we've got weight for both of them. Now we bring them back up here, and then only as quickly as your unconscious needs for you to allow yourself to make this change, the two hands, this is the automatism, another kinesthetic portion of the pattern, and that is this automatism is that the two parts start moving toward each other, and as they get closer, we then kick in what many trained hypnotists will remember as a suggestibility effect of magnetic hands. That is, they get closer, there's a force pulling them together, and the more closer they get, the more real the change occurs. See, we're tying in the positive result of the suggestibility effect with a positive change in the unconscious, to the point that eventually the two hands will meet. And when they meet, boom, there is a change that occurs, and they may even feel that change within their mind, their body, their spirit, or whatever. But they feel that change as the unconscious makes that change for them. Now here's something that you may notice. Some people, those hands don't move together. Now it can be that they just stay there and you don't have enough compliance with the unconscious. So you've got to ramp up expectancy and ramp up intensified imaginative involvement. Some people, the hands do an interesting thing called that. Instead of moving together, they go apart. Now that tells me there's something interesting going on here. The unconscious could be resisting for whatever reason, or there's something else you want to deal with. And of course, those of you who are watching this little YouTube video know that you need to get in there and do your work. So do proper pre-work, do the pre-talk, do all that other stuff. And of course, you probably have learned many different techniques for that and approaches. Yay! Do that. But most folks, you'll find, if you've done the pre-work, the hands will automatismically, that is, it's an automatism. We're not just clapping our hands, oh, but they're moving together seemingly of their own accord. It's an ideomotor movement, folks. The idea moves it. It's an automatism. When they get together, then I like to say they're stuck together and feel it as if that change is becoming a more and more a permanent part of who you are. You may notice in the example videos, I also often ask, is that all right with you? And when they say yes, they comply to the change, I'll often just switch a little dial in the mind and just make that a permanent part. But I don't always in some of the older example videos, but now I pretty much do that every time I work with folks. Is that all right with you? And then switch that dial in the mind and allow that to become a permanent part of who they are. Okay, let's see an example of this in action. This is actually one of the first videos I made of this process. It's from a new year. around 2007, and so this is a nice little segue of this kind of process used as a New Year's resolution booster. It runs fairly straightforward, very simple, but notice the difference between the examples that I show you and how they are presented, as well as how each individual who runs the process is a little different in how they react. Here's the example. I'd like to do something with you that's very interesting. I'd like you to imagine something in this hand. I'd like you to imagine either a behavior, since this is the new year, right? Mm-hmm. And some people in the new year, they make a New Year's resolution, don't they? That's a promise to themselves that they'd like to do something new or make a change. So I'd like you to imagine your New Year's resolution here. It could be something you want to change, a bad habit you want to get rid of, or a fear you'd like to make to change, or a bad feeling or whatever, something you'd like to change. Or it could be something good about yourself that you want to do more of. Okay? Now just choose something about yourself you'd want to make stronger or change. You got it? Yes. Now imagine that feeling here associated to it. Hold it up here. And imagine that feeling. Hold your hand up. Keep it up. Up. Good. Now imagine it's in that hand. Now over here, I'd like you to imagine in this hand all the good feelings and change you'd like to make related to that. So if it's something you want to change for the better, it becomes even stronger. And over here, this is your old self, that which you changed. This is your new self. That is, what would you be like and how would you feel if you made this change? And put that right here. And notice how good that feels, right? And make that stronger. Does that feel good? Put the good things there. Now I want you to notice something interesting. And that is, in a moment, I'm going to count from 3 to 1. And with each number, I'd like you to imagine that these two begin drawing together like an energy. And that this energy begins to change this energy. So that when the hands touch, they'll feel as if they're pulled by magnets. So even if you wanted to try to stop them, they'd get stronger. But when they touch, this shoots through you like a wonderful changing energy, and you feel a very positive feeling as this is changed into this new wonderful feeling. Is that all right with you? Yes. And when the hands touch, your unconscious mind can make that change for you. Is that all right with you? Then in a moment I'll count from 3 to 1. At the number 1, your hands begin moving stronger and stronger. 3, feel the energy as they begin feeling it powerful. 2, 1, they begin touching. And when they touch, you'll feel an explosion of good feelings all through your body, your mind, and your spirit as this old feeling changes and the hand changes. And feel it opening up as it changes, changes, changes. And as the hands, the palms touch, you feel that change shoot through your body, your mind, and your spirit as a permanent part of who you are. That's right. You feel a difference? How's that feel? It feel good?
Yes.
Would you like to keep that change?
Yes.
In a moment I'll count from 1 to 5. I'll turn a dial. And with each dial I turn, that becomes more powerful. And at the number 5, it becomes a permanent part of who you are. 1, even stronger. And notice how you breathe deeper and feel better. 2, that stronger, good feeling getting stronger. 3, 4. At the next number, that change becomes a permanent part of who you are. Would you like that?
Yes.
Is that all right with you?
Yes.
5, and feel that wonderful feeling go from the top of your head to the tips of your toes, feeling wonderful. That feel good? All right. Another example is actually from a young woman's very first session in hypnosis. Now, I've worked with her since many times. Some of you on my YouTube channel who are regulars, or if you're a member of my website. You probably have recognized this young woman because I've used her in many different examples of session techniques and things like that. But this is actually from her very first hypnosis session with me, her first time ever being hypnotized. And we run this process, and she told me later that it was very good for her, that she had some very nice positive change. Notice that I don't have to know what the issue is that the person's working on. I just deal with the movement and the feelings. This is a kind of silent therapy, or along the same lines as that, in that the therapist doesn't actually have to know what's being dealt with. That can make folks very comfortable in terms of, at least it'll make those who are uncomfortable with the idea of someone knowing their secrets less uncomfortable, because they don't have to say what they're working on. But let's watch this example. Now, since you were a good sport and we had some fun, I'd like to give you a gift, something good for you. So I'd like you to imagine, since this is close to the new year, a lot of people in the new year have resolutions, right? That's things they want to change. I'd like you to think of a thing or behavior, something about yourself you would like to change. Either to get rid of something bad or modify it, or to make something good even better. You got it? Now, is it something you'd like to change that's bad that you want to get rid of or change to the better? Or is it something that's good that you want to make stronger? Which? The good stronger. Okay, no problem. What I'd like you to do is I'd like you to hold your hand up like a bowl. And I'd like you to imagine that good thing, that good quality or behavior or whatever it is. And you can keep this private, so it's just for you. And I'd like you to imagine that good feeling, that quality that's good, and I want you to imagine it inside this hand. And I want you to imagine you can feel it. You feel that? Now in this hand is the good feeling or behavior. Now over here, we're going to do something very special. I'd like you to imagine yourself as you wish to be, with that good behavior or feeling even stronger. So we have the original you, and we have the new you with it even stronger. Got that? Now, in a moment, something special will happen. I'd like you to imagine that those two hands, the new improved you and the current you, that they begin moving towards each other very slowly, as if being drawn by a powerful energy, a force. And as they begin moving towards each other, something special begins to happen. You can feel the energy between them begin to exchange, so that this becomes even stronger and begins to change this, so that when your hands touch, you can feel in your body a very powerful shift, a very good change. And you can feel in your spirit that change becoming very positive and peaceful and joyful. And you can feel shifting in your mind as it becomes a permanent part of who you are. So you can feel the original you easily, that good quality, can't you? And you can imagine that quality in the new you as you'd wish to be, becoming even more stronger, right? And imagine now, as you look, imagine you're looking in the space between your hands. And imagine what happens as they begin moving. And you begin feeling that change becoming powerful, a permanent part of who you are, as your hands begin slowly moving towards each other now. like magnets, pulling your hands together. That's right. So your hands can begin pulling towards each other. And when they touch, you'll feel it. It's like whoosh. And every breath in, that feeling gets stronger. As your unconscious begins making the changes that allow you to accomplish this goal, it allows your unconscious to allow your unconscious to begin moving your hands closer and closer together. And notice any part of yourself that resists this change, your unconscious immediately, with or without your knowledge, it's okay, your unconscious can deal with any resistance so that the hands, as they get closer and closer, begin moving faster and more powerful. And any resistance can try to pull them apart, but it only makes the change more powerful as they become closer and closer and faster and faster. And when your hands touch, you feel a whoosh, wonderful feeling in your body, your spirit, and your mind, so that your palms become as if they are glued together, as if they are one piece of wood. And as they begin touching, feel that feeling now getting stronger. And feel it in your body. Feel it in your spirit. And feel it in your mind. Like a wonderful, wonderful place. That's right. And when your palms completely touch, you feel a whoosh in your body, a joy in your spirit, and a shift in your mind as it becomes a permanent part of who you are. Is that all right with you? Then let it happen. Even more powerful. And feel that. Whoa. You feel that shift? I feel good? All right. Would you like to keep that? 1, 2, 3, 4, and the next number, a permanent part of who you are. Would you like that? Then 5. Feeling wonderful. And relax, letting that be a permanent part of who you are, letting that be. The last example I'd like to show you is from March 2009. This was actually filmed in front of a live audience at a seminar I was teaching in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. The young man responded beautifully, and this is the full process with all of the components, visual, kinetic, kinesthetic, the whole kit and caboodle, and he responded beautifully. Quality of the video is not that great, but you get what you get. But his response was more than adequate. Very nice process, very nice response. Watch the entire set and see the entire method. Those of you who have training in hypnosis, you probably can pick up on this really quick. So let's take a look at that example of the issue. This is the current feeling, right? And I'd like you to notice the weight of it. Right? That's the current state. What color is this in this hand? Blue. All right. And in this hand, I'd like you to imagine, is your desire state. That's what you would like to happen. That's how you would like to be. And notice the weight of it. What color is in this hand? Red. So now here's the interesting thing. I'd like you to notice the difference between the current state, the blue, and the desired state, the red. Which seems to be heavier, that is more powerful? Okay. That makes sense, doesn't it? You're doing perfectly. Now what I'd like you to imagine, and this is very, very interesting. You can hold this hand like this, and you can hold this hand like this. Now, only as quickly as your unconscious mind allows it to happen, allow your hands to begin moving toward one another. Now, here's the interesting thing about change. Here, we have the current state as it is. Now, it has good and it has behaviors. Now, in this hand, is there anything good about this hand? Yes, okay. Is there anything good in this hand? Yes. Is there anything negative over here? No. Is there anything negative over here? No. That will make things very easy for us. As the unconscious allows the hands to move very gently of their own accord, you feel a connection so that the resources from here begin to become resources for here. And your unconscious, only as quickly as it allows the change to happen, becomes a resource so that this change state begins to become your reality. Only as quickly as the unconscious makes this change happen. Now what you'll notice is as they get closer together, that change becomes stronger and more powerful. Stronger and more powerful. And you'll notice the color from here begins to bleed over into the color over here as it becomes a resource to power the change for you. And as that change happens, any negative aspect of the behavior falls away so that only the positive resources drive that behavior. Anything holding you back previously can be shifted so that your unconscious allows you to make that change, but also is congruent and protects you and moves forward in a positive way. And when you notice it beginning to touch, you notice how it feels in your body and your mind and your spirit. And when they touch, you'll notice something happen. It feels like a shift occurs, and you feel it. Now you'll notice some other things as well, as the color with the positive of the present fueling the positive of the future and the desire state, which is now your reality, the color shifts again. And as it gets closer, it becomes as if it's a strong magnet, pulling your hands together more powerfully. As your unconscious mind allows this change to happen, the hands begin to come closer and closer more powerfully. The closer they come, the stronger it feels. The stronger it feels, the more powerful, the closer they come until they touch. And when they touch, you can feel that shift happen as they touch and stick together. And allow that change to happen only as quickly as your unconscious mind requires in the next few moments for that change to happen. And notice as it gets closer, notice how your breathing changes. Notice how your physical sensations change. And notice how the positive from that past now fuels and drives forward the positive of your now as that shift occurs, as that change occurs and becomes a permanent part of who you are. What color is that state now? What color is it now? That's right. Now, in a moment, I'm going to ask you, would you like to make this change a permanent part of who you are? In a moment, and only as quickly as your unconscious needs this change to occur, this new color and this new you begins moving towards your chest. And as you slowly, only as quickly as the unconscious needs to change to become permanent, moves into your heart, your mind, your body, a change occurs. And when it comes into your chest, you will feel that shift. It's as if something happens in the body, something happens in the mind, like doors opening and closing, gears shifting, locks that were formerly locked to you unlock, and passages to a bright future open up as that change becomes more and more who you are. And notice how powerful that change feels right now. When it touches your chest, you actually feel it like in your body, your mind, and your spirit. A very positive shift as it becomes a permanent part of who you are. And every breath in, that feeling increases, becomes more powerful. Would you like to keep that change as a permanent part of who you are? 1, 100 times stronger. 2, 100 times stronger. 3, 100 times stronger. 4, even more powerful. At the next number, it is a permanent part of who you are. Is that all right with you? 5, feel it shift. In a moment, I will count from 1 to 3. At the number 3, your eyes open, you're fully alert, your head is clear, and you will open your eyes to a new, exciting world, feeling good about yourself, feeling good about the changes you have made. 1, back to the here and now. 2, stretching, and 3, eyes open, feeling, whoa, how's that? Feel good?
Smiling.
Thank you very much. Please give them an applause. And there you have it, change hands process. Now, obviously, for some of you, you're going to jump right in and you're going to start changing hands all over the place. Change this hand, change that hand, change the hands. Notice it doesn't really matter if it's left or right hand. You just change the hands in the process itself. Some of you are probably a little less confident about that, particularly if you don't have really solid hypnotic experience or training in hypnosis. But for that sort of thing, just go to my website. There's lots of cool stuff there, and check that out. And you can get more training, more specific training in how to do hypnosis in general. The change hands process is just one of many specific methods that you can use either on your own or with other people to affect permanent, valuable, positive change. I hope this video has been helpful to you. Honestly, I make these videos because I really do. I genuinely want to help you, help yourself, and help others. Please be sure to check out our web pages. Click subscribe on this video or on my YouTube channel so that you can get notices when we put up something new. We put a new video up every single week. A brand spanking new video for you. There are 3 major playlists or programs that I add to, but we have at least one new episode of something each week. One new video every week. The 3 channel programs that we tend to focus on would be rants and news, as well as tips, tricks, and methods, as well as answering your questions. Click on comment and ask me a question. Make a comment. Tell us you like our videos. Let us know what we're doing right so that we can keep doing more right for you. And if you want something, let us know. Maybe I'll make a video answering your question. I like to do that. Also, we have trance time. Once in a while, I'll pop in and just guide you through a trance experience. Instead of talking about it, We actually do it. Once a month we have a webinar or long seminar associated with many other things, and so be sure to click that subscribe. Make sure you get notification and check out my web pages. They're awesome. Most importantly right now, this is Dr. Brian David Phillips saying, live, trance, and prosper. Bye-bye.